And hello, everyone, and welcome back to Words I Choose to Live By. We're so excited that you could be with us as we join you on the show based on my book by the same name. You all can see it there. Words I Choose to Live By. Believe it or not, we're in week number 19. Week number 19
Yeah.
with my co host, which I'm really excited about bringing them in to talk about today's topic. It's another one of those messages that I hope you'll be able to find something for yourself. I'll talk a little bit about what I kind of was thinking when I wrote it, but the topic is today welcomes another chance. We're going to connect with our friends over on Amazon Live and start today's program. And we thank you all for tuning into this episode of Cyrus Webb Presents. I'm Cyrus Webb, joined by my lovely co-hosts, Mary Ellen Ciganovich and Melissa Banks. We're joining you today from week 19, based on my book, Words I Choose to Live By. You all see it there. For those joining us on Amazon Live, we're highlighting in the carousel. For those who are tuning in on Facebook, on Twitter, as well as on YouTube, you'll find the link actually that leads you over to Amazon to be able to get the book for yourself. Mary Ellen, Melissa, how are you?
Good. Having a great week.
Doing great. How are you today, Cyrus?
Doing really good. Doing really good. Excited about this, but I'm always excited. First of all, can you all believe it's week number 19?
Wow, that went fast.
It is crazy, and we've been very consistent, even though we've had some tech issues, mainly on my end, in the very beginning. But I think those have kind of worked themselves out, and now we're able to be able to do a show where people can actually see us. I'm not cutting everybody off, so that's a win. As I said, we're in week number 19 today. It is Today Welcomes Another Chance, and this is what I wrote for those who have the print edition of the book. It's found on page 55. Falling down is not the saddest part of your journey. Staying down is. If you realize that you are worthy of another chance at life and all that it has to offer, you'll welcome the opportunities that a new day brings. So, what I have learned, and I'm curious as to you all's thoughts about this, is that there is no such thing as failure other than not starting at all. I think what so many people consider a failure is if something doesn't go the way that they plan for it to go, or that other people plan for it to go. And what I have learned is that a lot of times what you realize is there's a different way to get to where you want to go, or that the way that you were trying to go was not the best way either at that time or at all. So I'm curious, as for you, Mary Ellen, what has it been like for you to think about the importance of, even if you hit a snag in the road, not to let that snag kind of stop you?
Well, Cyrus, there's a spiritual saying that says, fall down 7 times, get up 8. And of course, the meaning is that every time you fall down, you learn and you get up and you begin again, or you begin differently. I have fallen down so many times, like I can't even remember. But yet I always gave myself permission to get back up. Now, I don't know if I ever thought of myself as worthy or not. I just didn't see any other option than to get up and to keep on going. You fall, you learn, and you get up. And anytime I ever had a bad day, I was always so grateful when it was time to go to sleep, because I knew that I could go to sleep and begin the next day all over again in a different way. Every day you have choices and opportunities for success. Now, in truth, Taking Responsibility Unleashes True Healing, that is my book that is out there. On page 72, this really relates to this one. And it says, be not afraid of going slowly, be only afraid of standing still. We all know people who do not start projects, careers, or relationships they know they should go forward with. People who give excuse after excuse and reason after reason for staying stuck. The truth is, people would rather feel safe in a bad situation than risk beginning a new project. Most people want some kind of guarantee or safety net before beginning anything new. Are you one of these people? And this goes to, falling down and refusing to get back up. You have to learn from it, accept your error, and get up the next day and say, okay, I'm going to make this differently, or I'm going to try again harder, or I'm going to reach something new. You don't ever want to sabotage your success.
I love that. Such a great message. Melissa, what about for you? How important has it been for you to realize that even if you do stumble, and even if you fall, and we all do, as Mary Ellen does, and I'm a very clumsy person, so I may fall just for no reason at all anyway. But how important has it been for you not to stay down?
Well, to me, it's everything. I just think about it. If I look back over some of the stuff I have overcome, any one thing could have just stopped me right there. So if I had stopped right there, then nothing that happened after that would have been possible. So I think it still goes back to your mindset and how you think. And I think that's how you get back up. Sometimes, you have a perfect plan. This is exactly how it's going to work out. In 3 months, this is going to happen. In 6 months, this is going to happen. But you know what? When you trust God, or as Darius, if he was here, would say, if you just trust the process, that maybe your perfect plan wasn't so perfect that it wasn't the plan to make it happen that way. So I think we have to go back to our thought process and know that, you know what, I can do it again and again and again. I can get back up again. If I quit right here, my story stops right here. I talk about that in one of my motivational, maybe this week, I believe, that when we look at people who were really successful and we look at them and think, wow, they were able to make it happen. But you know what? They didn't wake up and it all happened. What the difference is when those setbacks happen, they got back up again. They dust themselves off. They changed their thinking. They started thinking forward and they kept going. That's why the story didn't end. So my message is, every disappointment, focus on getting back up again. Not that you messed up. Sometimes things don't happen and you did everything right. It just wasn't the time or the season for it to happen at that moment. Change your language, get back up again, and start again. That's where the win is.
Love that. And you evoke Darius. I'm sorry, Mary Ellen, go ahead.
No, I didn't have anything.
Okay, okay. You evoked Darius, so I should let our audience know if it seems like we're short one. Darius has PT today, so he's taking a personal day. So he's not with us today, but we hope everything's going well with him as he's getting better. For those who are just tuning in, you are watching or listening to Words I Choose to Live By, based on my book by the same name. We're discussing week number 19 from the book. The topic is Today Welcome Another Chance. The other thing I say in this particular one, and I think it's one of those things that is so important, if you realize that you are worthy of another chance at life and all that it has to offer, you'll welcome the opportunities that a new day brings. That to me is such a big thing in itself, because I don't know, I'm curious as to what you all say. Melissa, I'm going to start with you on this. So many people, and I know I've been in that situation myself, don't feel worthy. They feel like they messed up and that's it. How important is it for you, Melissa, and for our audience not to count themselves out?
Well, you have to believe in yourself, right? So when I sit down, sometimes I do have moments of looking at other people's success or focusing on the things that happened that weren't good. Some of that big stuff that I've personally have gone through. So when my focus turns to those things, I do start to feel, am I supposed to be right here? Can I get back up? This didn't happen, so this was the end. And that goes back to believing in yourself and believing that you can. Also, it goes back to being able to see you where you want to be. Because, we've all heard before, if you can't see it, you can't achieve it. So it goes back to believing in yourself, seeing yourself in that place where you want to be. Even at a moment where it's a series of no's or it's a series of disappointments. Sometimes when you have a disappointment after disappointment after disappointment, that's all you can see. So you have to change that focus and focus on what you want, what your dream looks like. One of the notes in our book, Dream by Design, the devotional, it talks about knowing what you want and knowing what it looks like. So if you keep focusing on what it looks like, it keeps moving you forward because you can see yourself in that place. The moment you stop being able to see yourself in that place, that's where you will stop. The moment you make quitting an option, is the option that you will take because it seems easier at the time. So you have to keep believing in yourself, believing that you can be where you want to be, and changing that thought process, changing those words, and keep looking at yourself and knowing, you know what, this is where I want to be. This didn't happen, but I can keep moving as long as I keep believing.
Love that. Such a great thing. What about for you, Mary Ellen? How important has it been for you, and then by extension for our audience, to realize that you are worthy of another chance and that yesterday doesn't have to define today?
Well, there was a very dark time in my life, Cyrus. As you know, I'm a suicide survivor. When I didn't feel worthy at all. I didn't feel like I had any place to turn. And of course, tried to commit suicide. And I went up to the light, and God actually sent me back. I mean, I had one of those light experiences. And when I came back, that was when my spiritual journey began, because I knew that Christ had sent me back. God had sent me back for a purpose, because he told me, you know, Mary Ellen, what you've done is very bad, and you still have things to achieve on earth. And I learned from that experience, because in truth, I write about the greatest teacher you can ever have in life is experience. And I don't recommend any of that experience to anyone. I mean, I was fortunate that I lived through it. And that was the beginning of me feeling worthy enough to go ahead and go forward and stand up for myself, and stand up to people who put me down, and stand up to people who thought I wasn't good enough, and say, hey, I am good enough. I can do that. And there are so many mornings, you know, when I get up, you know, with the MS, and I'll be so fatigued. And then people see me on Miracles with Mary Ellen, and I'm like, hey, good morning. And they don't understand what I've been through. I don't allow that to stop me. I'm going to push through and go forward and do what God put me on this earth to do.
Appreciate you sharing that, Mary Ellen. I think it's such an important thing. And I would just add for our audience here that, you know, not only, I mean, there's enough going on in the world. There is enough opposition, enough hate, enough darkness out there. I think the worst thing we do to ourselves is become our own worst enemy. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of times we put ourselves, and I've done it too, and so I'm speaking from experience. We put things on ourselves that are unnecessary. And in doing that, we then limit what we are able to do. There's still runway left, but we stop the plane because we think, okay, there's no way I'm going to be able to do it. And what I really want people to get, myself personally, from this message is, for one, if you're here today, no matter what day it is that you're listening to or watching this, there is a reason why you were here. And you have an opportunity to do something that you were not able to do yesterday. The question becomes, will you do it? And I think that's the thing. We don't know what the outcome is going to be. However, as I say in this message, if you don't try, then we do know what the outcome will be. You will always have that regret. You will always have those feelings of what I have not done. But if you just try it, you never know what is possible for you. So, Melissa, what would you say to our audience today about the importance of, even if they've fallen, the importance of getting back up and keeping on running the race?
You know, Cyrus, I was thinking as you were speaking, you know, and I'm a survivor of domestic abuse. The reason domestic abuse works is not so much the physical abuse, it's the mental, right? It's because you're told over and over again what you are not, what you can't be, how inadequate you are, how unworthy you are. So the reason that works is because you're told it over and over and over again, and you start believing what the abuser is saying to you. Your way out of that is when you stop believing the negative, when you stop believing that you're not worthy, when you stop believing that you can't, and start believing that you can. That's why it's so big for me on mindset and the language that you're saying to yourself. So you change that language and you say, I can do this. I will do this. Quitting is not an option for me. I deserve this because I'm putting in the work. So every single time you hit a wall or you fall down or you don't reach the goal that you set, change your language to yourself. You know what? That didn't happen today, but that can happen tomorrow because I can, because I deserve it, because I'm getting up every day and I'm putting one foot in front of the other and I'm doing everything I can, because I believe when I do every single thing that I can, then the rest is already laid out for me. I just have to go get it. So you don't have to get up every day all excited, because we're human. Sometimes stuff hit us and it hit us in the gut. That's when you have to dig down, and that's when you have to repeat yourself. You have to say it over and over again. You have to listen to something to get your mind back focused on what you can. Take out all the can'ts and I can't have and I can't do, and you replace that language. And you don't do it once. You do it over and over and over again, because that's what gets into the spirit. And once it's in your spirit, it's no stopping you. I know without a doubt that if I didn't practice that consistently, when things start hitting me, whether it's business or personal, even now, and that situation has been 20 years ago, over 20 years ago, but even now it's so important not to put myself back into that place of feeling bad for myself or feeling like I can't do it, or that I have those moments. But when I have those moments, that's when I reach up. That's when I start repeating the affirmations that say that I can. That's when I go back to my word, go back to my relationship with God that says that I can, that He wants the best for me, that I can do it. All of those things, even when you can't sleep at night. My preacher told me a long time ago, when you wake up in the middle of the night and you're feeling overwhelmed, you're feeling all that you can't do and you won't do, start saying some scriptures and saying them out loud. Say those things that mean something to you, to your heart, that lifts your spirit, even when you can't sleep at night, and get your mind to a place where you can get back up again. You can keep going to reach where you want to be.
Love that. Thank you so much for that, Melissa. Mary Ellen, what about for you? What would you say to our audience about the importance of looking at themselves, even if they have fallen down, the importance of not staying there, but getting back up and keep going?
Well, you have to, like Melissa was saying, keep that positive self-talk going. You have to keep doing those positive affirmations. The truth of the day on the internet today is about keeping your thoughts focused on the positive. You have to keep focus there, even when especially when you fall down. And when you fall down, learn from it, okay? Pick yourself up and say, okay, what do I need to learn from that experience? Because that's what it's all about. You know, every day brings a new adventure for self-improvement, success, any kind of experience you want to bring into your life. Your opportunity is right in front of you when you open your eyes and you grab it. And if you grab an opportunity and you complete it unsuccessfully, like I said, step back and learn from it and go forward and see how you can do the next opportunity with gusto. And you can be just totally positive about it. And you can just pat yourself on the back and say, wow, I went forward anyway, and I did it.
Such a great thing. Such a great reminder for all of our audience. Again, everyone, we've been discussing week number 19 from my book, Words I Choose to Live By. You all see it there. I'm going to go ahead and highlight it back up front here for those who are joining us on the Amazon Live side. Also want to remind you guys, it is available on Amazon.com in paperback, the Kindle edition, as well as the hardcover, just in time for National Book Month. And Mary Ellen, how can they stay connected with you?
Well, through AskMaryEllen.com, which is my website, with quick links over to Amazon for my book, Truth, Taking Responsibility Unleashes True Healing, or Healing Words, Life Lessons to Inspire. Both are available on Amazon, and I would love your comments when you get them as to what you think about them. AskMaryEllen.com.
And Melissa, how can they stay connected with you?
Well, it's really easy to stay connected with us. You can get our book. You can listen to some of our amazing interviews with amazing women on Dream by Design with Melissa Banks. And you can also see some of our other platforms all on one link. It's really easy. It's themelissabanks.com. Get your devotional and pour some inspirational thoughts into your mind. That's why I talk about it all the time. It all begins with your thinking. That's themelissabanks.com.
That. Mary Ellen, Melissa, thank you so much. Darius, you were missed today, my friend. Hope all went well today with physical therapy. Of course, if you wanted the day off, you could have just told us. You didn't have to schedule your physical therapy for Monday. But hey, I'm not saying you did that. but, but looking forward to have you back with us. And we thank you, our audience, for tuning in to another great segment of Words I Choose to Live By. We hope that you have gotten something that will inspire you, motivate you, keep you moving forward, as well as give you something to share with others. Until next time, we hope you all will join us for the next episode of Words I Choose to Live By. Have a great one.